please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So about half this video is going to be from my introduction monologues in my live stream last night, which do go on for a bit. But last night was a bit of a doozy. I'm recording this on June 1st, Wednesday, June 1st, pinch and punch for the first of the month. Not sure when it's going to go out. All right, this is I think this is a good video. So I like to post things that I think are good videos on days where good videos normally do well. Friday is good, Sunday sometimes. Oh, Sunday I do live streams, but so I don't know when I'm putting this out. Got a great video lined up for Friday, right? I got a really good one for Friday, and that probably was posted by the time this goes out, okay? Terribly sorry, I'm still a little bit sick, which is one of the reasons I am making this video. Anyway, I did this monologue last night where I had this real synthesis in my life, right, of many different areas, answering a question of what is going on with toxic fandom? Like, what is toxic fandom? And I define all my terms. I know there are many different definitions of that, which is what we're going to get into. I try, and listen, if you're somebody hate watching this, or just somebody who was on the other side of the aisle, which I think, whatever, it's, and you disagree, you think I'm not being fair, or not being honest, at any time, let me know in the comments. And if you, God, this is so crazy. If you don't want to help me by commenting, right, send me an email, okay? Whatever you want, right? Whatever you want. Everything's in the video notes. You can get in contact. I'm more than happy to. During the video, however, the sentence, I'm a rabbi, right? I'm a real Bible-thumping religious guy. That's a whole other discussion. I know that's also very triggering for the people who may be hate watching. Not because I'm a rabbi, more that I believe in God, right? They really makes people angry. Really does make people angry. I find there a lot of extreme intolerance around that. But anyway, I do. So I talk a lot about my own like theological studies journey that I'm going through right now, right? And I go into some detail. But this is not proselytizing, okay? I'm not trying to convince you, okay, to be Jewish or be at all. In fact, there's actually a commandment saying don't do that. It's not hard not to proselytize, be Jews. Hey, do you like being hated by all the world for thousands of years? In that case, being Jewish might be for you. Do you like a pogrom? Oh, being Jewish might be for you, right? Do you like those National Socialists rounding you up? Being Jewish might be for you. Do you like being hounded out of the Labour Party by its leadership? In that case, being Jewish might be for you. And I say Labour, the modern bloody Labour Party. Do you like all that stuff? Do you want to pay like double or triple for your food? Because kosher food is crazily expensive. Being Jewish may be for you, that being the case. And do you like insane additional expenses in your life, which are inexplicable. For example, okay, this is a bit of an aside. There's a holiday around September called Sukkot. September, October time, and part of the this whole complicated thing, observance of it, you have to get a palm branch, and it's got to be a super special kosher one. There's about 1 million laws around it. Why do Jews not have Christmas trees? Because the book will need on all the laws of what will make a Christmas tree kosher to be about this bloody thick. And I freaking love Christmas. Okay, English Christmas, awesome. Love me a mince pie. Anyway, I digress. Not a popular opinion, in Samaria where I live, right? Anyway, I digress. So yeah, you get this palm thing, then you get a lemon thing called an etrog. It says citron in English. A willow leaves and myrtle leaves, and you shake them together basically to demonstrate the physical expression of unity of people, right? But these things cost a freaking fortune. This lemon in America, you'll pay $200-300 for it. It is crazy, okay? So if you like that stuff, being Jewish might be for you. If not, okay. But the reason I go into all that stuff is because I want to really be clear. I wanted to really be clear about what my motivations were as far as I perceived them, right? And basically I was going into this religious stuff to explain why I believe all people are intrinsically equal, and the fund. If there is a God, if my worldview is real, and I'm not trying to tell you that it is, I think the fundamental thing that God really wants of us, of humanity, is for us to unite and be one, right? Be different and be together, right? And I think, I don't care if you believe in God, don't believe in God, whatever, right? I just think That's a nice way to think, right? That doesn't seem to be the problem, but that's the reason I get into it. I understand some people are often triggered by talk about religion. But this channel, if you're new to this channel, I talk about my life, my feelings, my thoughts, and this basically it's on camera. Yeah, it's on screen. Anyway, like, share, subscribe, and I'll be clear. Even if you really don't like me, okay, even if you really, especially subscribe if you don't like me, because you got to want to hear the heresies that they utter, and they are extreme heresies. You don't want to be like. In fact, if you really want to own me, right? I write and draw comics. Buy a bunch of my comics, all right? Buy like $1,000 worth of them, and then burn them in front. Oh, you would own me. I would own you $1,000, but you would own me. Totally worth it. So like, share, subscribe, comment. 100% comment. Let me know what you think of this one. Sign up my Substack. My Substack is a email newsletter. If you ever don't see me post content here on YouTube, I've been banned from YouTube, right? I've been banned from YouTube. So I have alternative channels. I have a Rumble. Oh, yeah, go with some Rumble. If we all move over to Rumble, that'll make my life much better. And I got a paid Substack account as well, $5 a month. And I'm supposed to give out stuff on it, and I haven't because it's been a rough couple of months. So essentially, I've only got a stack of stuff ready to send out, but hopefully next week I will have some more time in my life again. I've had this big project going on that's just eaten up way more time than I possibly imagined it could do, because I am what the Hebrews call a schmuck, right? I'm a schmuck. I took on too much. Hey, like, share, subscribe, going, fine. So I'm going to define the terms that I'm using. Again, I'm trying to be fair. I'm trying to be reasonable. So about what is toxic fan. Actually, the first time I'm going to define isn't really about this video, but the story that we're going to get into gave me interactions on Twitter with I don't want to label them, but gave me interactions on Twitter which made me start thinking about this thing. And they started very what's the word? Combatively, right? Very aggressively. But this one in particular, there was a younger chap in his 20s, really smart guy, right? And we actually got talking. And I started to hear what he was saying, his point of view. I hope he comes on the channel, right? I really hope it. We disagree. We're a million miles apart on many issues, right? But I really hope he comes on the channel because, here's the thing. I don't think he realizes that I don't hate him because of his skin color, right? And that's the thing. He started up by saying, you probably think I'm woke, but you won't define that. I'll define what woke means to you. Firstly, I don't really use the term that much, right? I use it occasionally, but I don't use it that much. Why? Because generally speaking, people find it very triggering, right? And when you trigger people, they don't listen. So what's the point, right? What's the point? It just is a way to annoy people. It's not really I don't really need to do that in life, right? I do that without trying. Okay, I don't need to try and annoy anyone. This is my life. Okay, so but I would say woke, generally speaking, is taking a populist entertainment and using it as a platform to get across an ideological worldview, right? And an ideological worldview is normally a collection of things that everybody agrees with. They're like everybody agrees with, and it's things that not that many people agree with, but they really can't say it. So you have things like the ideological worldview is like black people are people too, and yes. Yeah. I mean, like, it's so weird, right? Obviously. And gay people are people. Yes. And women are people too. Yeah. This is nothing new. You know what it's like? You ever seen Ted, right? Ted. There's a great scene in it where at a party they do coke. They're about to meet, what's his name? Flash Gordon. What's the actor? Can't remember. St. Jones. Not Tom Jones. I can't remember his name. Anyway. And they're doing coke and was like Marky Mark says to Ted, you know what? And he's coking out like, you know what? We're going to open a club. We're going to open a club. It's going to be the best club ever, and we're going to let Jews in. And Ted's like, well, of course. Said, yeah, we're going to treat it just like that. We're going to be totally cool about it. We're just going to let Jews in and not say anything. But why wouldn't we? Yes, exactly like. So that's what I mean. Like, yes, black people are people too. I've never, ever thought that black people were not people too, and they have the ability to do everything that people can do, which is people, right? It's crazy. And then there's other ideas that are things like men can have periods and babies. Okay, if that's what you believe, some people think the Earth's flat. Whatever. That's fine. That's what you believe. And normally, if you don't believe the thing, if you voice any reservation about the things that not many people really completely believe, they then say you don't do the thing, you do the thing that nobody believes. Like if you say I'm not sure that medically men can have periods. What? Can you explain that? You hate black people and gays. What? No. But that's generally speaking what I would say. So that's one sign of what something woke is. And again, I don't use the terminology too often. But another sign is it becomes the quality normally drops immensely, very, very, very quickly. And it becomes it becomes very unpopular. Like the popularity of anything, go woke, go broke and it's pretty much a truism, right? With the current iteration of Doctor Who, I think falls into that category, right? It's deeply unpopular, right? Nowhere near the popularity it used to be. Same with Star Trek, same with Star Trek Discovery, same with Star Wars. None of these things are in any way near have the same kind of popularity, and that's just factual. That's math, right? So I would say that that's what woke. I'll give you another thing: diversity hire, right? Another very, very triggering term. What is a diversity hire? I would say, because I've been thinking about this over the last couple of days. I would say it's it could be a few things, but essentially it's a character created to be an identity and little more, right? So therefore, if somebody is just an identity, that's all they really need to play the part. So the conversation going on right now is around Obi-Wan Kenobi with Moses Ingram plays the villain in that, right? So she's actually going to be the hero. But it's really bizarre, right? Now I want to say I think diversity hiring does happen. I think it's deplorable. I think it's insanely racist. I think it devalues the performer. I think it devalues humans. I think it devalues the race they're trying to promote or propagate. I think it devalues the art. I think it's awful. It's disgusting. It's racist. It's terrible. I really. This is my genuine opinion. Now, I haven't seen Mos Ingram in anything else. So I only saw her in Kenobi, and she plays a very flat, two-dimensional character in there. And she's on screen with lots of really interesting three-dimensional characters that are very, very compelling, right? So it's really not really fair. You got like these three badass sis with bits of them plumbed in and cybernetics and great performances and lead, and it's really fascinating, right? And really, like, the Chief Inquisitor, love them. There's like a woman one and a guy. They're all great, and a black woman. And she just snarls and is the best at everything. I mean, another example of a diversity hire is, in my opinion, Jodie Whittaker. I think she was hired because she was a woman and not much else. I don't think Segun Akula would be doing the music in Doctor Who if he was a white bloke called Reg Smith from Clapham. I just don't, right? That's what I think. Now, again, do I think it's racist? Yes, I think it's very racist, right? I think it's very, very, very bad, right? But yeah, no, I think it's a disgusting practice that does happen. So yeah, I mean, I think it puts and normally diversity hiring happens around whatever Hollywood is being shamed about at the time, right? If you remember the Me Too movement, right? The Me Too movement, believe women. What people forget is how the Me Too movement started. Ronan Farrow had an expose about Harvey Weinstein. Why is it always Jewish names? It's so embarrassing, right? Had an expose about Harvey Weinstein being like a rapist and all these terrible, the casting couch in Hollywood, and just terrible, right? Now that report was spiked, wasn't run in any outlet up until Hillary Clinton lost this 2016 election. So I believe that's connected to Harvey Weinstein being a big supporter of the Clintons. And I think because of the money, Hillary Clinton used her political influence to spike the story, right? But when she lost that election, the world ended, for him. and the Me Too movement happened, right? And it's always the abuses of Hollywood. So yeah, I want to be clear. I think the entertainment industry, I mean Hollywood at the very least, is certainly sexist. I think it's racist. I believe all that. I mean, you want to see the entertainment industry is racist? Have you seen the sequel trilogy in Star Wars? John Boyega. Oh my God, that's like one of the most racist things ever. It was like. I really like Force Awakens, right? I mean, especially the scene. Firstly, John Boyega's great in everything. I freaking love him, right? The scene where he picks up the lightsaber and you see the blue of the lightsaber reflected his face, and the awe is, oh my God, it was so good, right? I was like, yes, I want to see more, right? And then the next movie, he turned into this cuck walking around in a Bacta suit. They just destroyed that character. They removed his face from the Chinese. But it's disgusting, right? That is racist. Third movie, they couldn't even find somebody to do his bloody hair. Oh my God. Yeah, no, Hollywood is racist, right? Entertainment, here's the thing. We agree on so much. They are racist, they are sexist. 100%, we're on board, right? So, okay, toxic fandom. Let's talk about what toxic fandom is. So, a lot of things are called toxic fandom. I would be called toxic fandom, right? So a group of people called toxic fandom were me, and it was people who didn't like Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who, and the only possible reason we wouldn't like Jodie, the only possible reason is because we're bigots. There's no other, because it was so incredible, but it was awful, right? It's really bad. I mean, I've done some deep dive reviews on it, going back to the first season, really looking at them in detail. And the scripts are not professional, and Whittaker's performance is not good. I'm sorry, it doesn't sell it at all. Well, firstly, the character's written as not as a hero, more of a buffoon who doesn't know what's going on and doesn't have any agency to solve anything. And then it's weird. They act like the character does have an agency and ability, even though we haven't seen it on screen. Again, I'm re-going through that first season really, really deeply, and we just haven't. We haven't seen heroism on screen, and I think this Doctor's a coward. I think there's conformist. Everything that the Doctor isn't, right? An idiot conformist. I think there'll be an idiot conformist no matter what identity they had, and it's just weird, right? But we were labelled with toxic racists, so that's where this video comes from. Because I would say the people labelling others that way is the real toxic fandom, right? And I'm going to give you examples from this story, that we're going to hear about. But what is toxic fandom, and where did it come from, right? I think toxic fandom falls into two parts. One part is genuinely evil and malicious, right? 100% genuinely evil and malicious, and I'll give you a personal example, right? A couple of years ago, I did a video. I was running through. Listen, I take the piss a lot, right? So I was running through all the companions from the beginning, saying which ones I would like to get to bed. Now I want to be clear. The only woman I touch is my wife, right? It's like literally, I'm Bible thumping religious. Like honestly, I haven't touched anybody in decades who isn't my wife, right? That's literally the only person I touch. And it was a joke, because it's quite obviously a joke. So I get up to Victoria, right? I think, oh man, she's always scared. Post-traumatic stress disorder. I could totally use that. It was so clearly a gag, right? But there was this a really evil, genuinely evil group called Not My Doctor, who spends their days, and this sounds insane, right? This sounds insane. But they spend their days monitoring social media of anybody who doesn't like Jodie Whittaker. And then they find their posts, they screen grab them, and then they dogpile on them, calling them Nazis. It's the most bizarre thing, and it's just. And why do they do? So I'll tell you my post. So I've got to Victoria, right, and they just hated me. Why do they hate me? Because I take the piss out of them, and that's what made them so mad. So then their leader pulls up this wiki which references an out of print short story which says Victoria was 15. So the fact is, no, she was in her early 20s. Was it decolletage? Is that how you pronounce it? The dress that she wore showed a little bit of cleavage, right? So that would not be something a young child would wear. That is clearly a marriageable age girl that I was joking wanting to have sex with. Okay, what? Because she's very, very attractive. Okay, Deborah Watling, very, very, very hot. So the question is, which Deborah Watling would you like to have sex with more? The 1960s Deborah Watling or the 1980s one, the more milfy Deborah Watling? The correct answer is both, baby, both. But I digress. But anyway, so they then started this campaign. It was genuinely a campaign of calling me a paedophile. Now, I'm a married man with daughters, and it seemed like hundreds. There weren't that many, but it's because they all swarm you at once. Paedophile, and there's nothing you can say. Paedophile. Well, listen, there was nothing you can say for a while, but then I let it go for a day or so, and then I started building out these infographics pointing out that this is traditionally racist, anti-Semitic behavior, right? Saying, oh, this dirty Jews coming after our little girls, right? That's such absolutely traditional anti-Semitic behavior, and many Jews have been lynched because of that, right? Many Jews, they don't give a shit, right? They don't give a shit, but they did, because they're like, because they know I'm right, and they can't. But we didn't do it because you're Jewish. We did it just because we hate you. I don't know your motivations, mate. I don't know your motivations, right? This is traditionally racist behavior, and they're just a disgusting group of disgusting people that hold no value universally. They will attack people they don't like, and then they will they will ignore people they do, and the people they don't like changes with the wind, right? There is no moral value in them whatsoever, right? Whoever they feel they can dogpile on, they will. And why do they do it? Exactly the same way racists have always done it, right? Exactly the same way racists have always found a Jew, chased him, said, you've been raping our girls, and lynched him. Why do they do it? Because it's fun, right? Because it's fun. That's why they do it, right? So that, I would say, is toxic fandom, right? And it still comes up today, right? Years later, that is absolutely toxic fandom. So I want to be... I want to give people the benefit of the doubt, right? That's my worldview. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. So I think that's a minority within toxic fandom. I think there's a much bigger group. Now, I want to say this thing. The thing about toxic fandom or hating other parts of fandom is a relatively new thing. It wasn't around 2015-ish. We've always had arguments in fandom, like, I hate this era, I hate that era, this is my hate canon, this is my hate canon, we fight and have a drink in the bar, right? That's basically it. But this new era of toxic fandom is like completely different, and that's what I want to talk about, because what is going on? So this story starts off. I'm going to start with this thumbnail. So I put out this video a couple of days ago, right? And the rumor mill is there, and there's all these articles saying it's going to be a multiverse of all different kinds of Doctor Who, right? So I wanted to illustrate that thumbnail. So I got David Tennant. I photoshopped his coat to be blue because we've seen the blue coat. Oh, that's kind of cool. And I found a Juliet Landau did a photo shoot as Romana. I thought, now listen, I understand. I haven't liked Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who. I'm not opposed to female Doctor Who, but I think I understand it a lot better now. I think as part of like a special, I would like to see Juliet Landau's Doctor Who. I freaking love Juliet Landau. She's great, right? And the other person is Don Martin, right? Because I typed up Doctor Who cosplay because I wanted to do something different but Doctor Who. And I know Don Martin, right? A lot of respect for Don Martin. So I went down a rabbit hole of his cosplay. And I talk about this in the video. Cosplay, freaking brilliant. I mean, brilliant beyond brilliant. He creates a character, right, which is a fusion of them who is cosplaying and the guy. I love it, right? His cosplay is absolutely. So I thought I'll put them together, and it'll be like a multiversey sort of thing. And I didn't think it was in any way controversial or mocking tone. First thing he said, he didn't like his picture being used as that picture. That's fair enough. Everybody has the right to do that. It's fine. I think the reason that he wasn't happy with it is because of my identity, right? My identity, not as a Jew. No, not as a Jew, but well, as somebody he believes is toxic fandom, right? Because people like Dom, who I, again, have incredible respect for. I mean, obviously intelligent, right? Obviously intelligent. But why does he believe I hate black people, right? Why does he like? And he really completely believes it. And in general, there is a newer thing in the world, right? It's only been around since about 2015, where these kids, they really genuinely believe that if you don't think like them on every issue, it's because you hate people, right? Because you absolutely you hate black people, you hate gay people, you hate people, and you want to see them kept down, and it's insane, right? It's really an insane point of view. I mean, look, I grew up in the 80s, and this is my life experience, right? I'm telling you my personal lived experience. Well, like in the 80s, basically everybody I knew were not on board for racism, right? Like it was like we found it abhorrent in the 80s, right? And if you want, there was racism in the 80s, though, absolutely, for us to react to. If you want to see what racism genuinely was like in the 80s, because these kids have no idea, right? They think it's like some awful dystopian. Go and look at watch a movie called This Is England. I think that's a really genuine representation of racism in the 80s. It deals with skinheads, and it's like two-tone stuff. With two tones, it's like black skinheads and white music. It was a real interesting way where you saw where racism comes from and what it does and what happens with it. And there's a couple of mini-series. It's fantastic, right? It's so good, right? There's a couple of mini-series that follow it. This Is England. What was it, 85, 89? I can't remember, but they're all great, right? They're all fantastic. But that's what racism was like in the 80s. But by the time we hit the 90s, we were getting older and we were more in control. And we saw minorities in establishment positions. We had the police force started getting a black population, the fire service. It was an integration into British society, which is why I think, by the way, the time for a black Doctor Who isn't 2022. It was like by Colin Baker. And I love Colin Baker's Doctor, right? But I wish I could go back in time and whisper that idea to. I think I say that in the video. Okay, I'm probably repeating myself. To John Nathan Turner, right? So So then, by the time we hit the 2000s. Nobody cared, right? Nobody cared about racism, right? Black people and white people. Nobody cared what color you were. This is the world we lived in, right? Nobody cared. Like the idea somebody wouldn't get a job because they had a different color. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. No. Like I never heard it at the time, but if anybody said, "Oh man, that's disgusting," you got a black person dating Rose. I mean, your first reaction is, "Ooh." A second reaction is, "What? That's great." It was insane, right? And that's basically, we lived in a racism-free world for a good 10, 15 years. I mean, and that's what it was. Was there racism? Of course. Of course, people are always prejudiced, right? People are always prejudiced. But, there was a supply and demand problem with racism, but there just wasn't enough about. So we had to invent new types of racism, racism that you couldn't see or hear, which will be unconscious bias, right? Now, listen, here's the thing. Everybody has biases. Every decision that everybody makes, regardless of skin color, comes with 100,000 biases, right? And that is true. 100% true. That people are biased against black people for certain jobs, I would have to see it, right? I'd have to see it. And if I see it, I'm with you. Not putting up with it. So, here's the difference between unconscious bias and actual bias, right? So, when the Not My Doctor group, again, disbanded because their leader was outed as a sex pest himself, which is funny. When the Not My Doctor group were calling me a paedophile, right? I don't know what their motivation was, right? I don't know if they were calling me a pedophile because they don't like Jews, which again, traditionally racist, anti-Semitic behavior, or they calling me pedophile because they're idiots, right? I don't know which one, right? I do know which one. They may have an unconscious bias. People are allowed to have all the bias. People are allowed to not like Jews. People are allowed to have whatever bias they want. I don't mind. It's their actions, right? Once they move into action of vilifying somebody as a pedophile, which is completely spuriously. At that point, you're doing a racist action, right? But don't do racist actions, and we're all cool, right? But I think there's a genuine need for there to be racism, because I think racism is used to control people. I think, and that's really what this video about. So anyway, Dom and I obviously the group that surrounds him, right? Believe me to be racist, believe me to be intrinsically, and just thought somehow I was taking the piss out of him for being black as the Sixth Doctor, right? I don't know how you make that I genuinely don't, right? I genuinely do not know how you make that inference. You're standing next to David Tennant. It will seem an act of insanity, but they all believe it, and they all believed it with 100%. Conviction. There was no possible way. So now we're going to look at what I would say. We're going to divide between the two areas of toxic fandom, right? So this was what one response. This guy said, "You know exactly what you're doing, and now you're actually being called out for your bigotry or backpedaling when one of your targets actually decides to call you out in a particular question. Real brave, fascist." I don't understand. Like, again, what sane person could possibly say that was an expression of race? So this guy was clearly nuts. So I say, dude, you're completely delusional. What on earth are you talking about? Bigotry? What? When? You're literally delusional. Even the cursory look at your work makes it abundantly clear why you used them. Your terrible obfuscation, and you disgust me. And I believe he's telling the truth. I do disgust him, right? Because he believes with all his heart, all his might, right? I am a racist and I hate Dom because he's black, right? He believes that, right? Completely believes it. Now, how did this get started? Okay, it got started with this video over here, which was always which they pull up now. I did a video saying, is it racist to believe Doctor Who is intrinsically a Caucasian character, right? So the point of this video, 100% point of the video, was giving people the benefit of the doubt, right? Why do people think... Now, my opinion is I'm super psyched for this new era of Doctor Who. I'm super psyched for a shooting, right? Look, if Rusty Davies says that he gave a blistering audition, I can't wait, right? I cannot wait. I do not think he's a diversity hire, because I think he was written not as a skin color, not as an identity, and written with talent, and it's going to be incredible. I think it's going to be great, right? But there was an area of fandom who were like, I'm not comfortable with this, right? So I asked them why. What is the reason? And basically it was this. The character's been white for 60 years. That, for them, establishes the skin color of the character, right? For me, not, right? For me, I believe that the character, in my head canon, right? When one regenerates, is to do with where your mental state in your regeneration. You can be any character. I mean, like, but I'm not willing to rush and call people I've known for a while racist, right? Because of that. I'm just not willing to do that at all. I think it's wrong, right? I think you should give me a... Now, let me say... Now, be clear. If they say that, I don't think a character like the Doctor could be a black person, black people can't do that. I mean, that's racist. That's obviously racist, right? I think I say this in the main video. That's 100. But if they're saying, look, the character's been this way for an extended period of time, that I don't want to start calling people racist because of that. I don't want to start screaming racism at people because of that, right? And that was based upon a video. Like, we should all just like give people live and let live and give people the benefit of the doubt. So this other guy there who's Jewish and like knows nothing about Judaism, there's 3 indicators that you are compassion, acts of kindness, and shame. I don't know about your acts of kindness, but you behave without compassion and without shame. Like, why? because I said we should all be nice to each other. And what really pissed me off with this guy is, towards the end of this video, right, I was talking about people doing anti-Semitic things, like normal everyday anti-Semitic things, like normally Hamas, who hates Jews. They're in their charge, they want to kill all Jews, right? They will say horrible defamations about Jews all the time. Jews, the Israelis murder Palestinian children, right? They'll say these awful defamations, they'll make memes, and then people will say, that's so terrible, it's weak oppressing the strong, I will post this on Facebook or post it, and I will feel virtuous. Now, do I think those people are anti-Semitic? No, not necessarily, maybe. They may have an unconscious bias, but it's the action I talk about. No, I think they're going along with it. So he actually pulled that and said, you literally say racism is okay. If you have to disingenuously pull everything I say and distort it completely, to fit your agenda, maybe your agenda's wrong, right? Maybe your agenda's wrong. You are shame upon our community. You are just a dickbag. But I still think him, Don, this other guy, I don't think these are the evil, toxic fans, especially not the guy I had a long conversation with. I don't think that. Certainly, the guy I was speaking with, completely a smart guy, right? Smart, intelligent, the same thing, but, together, somebody I could talk to, right? And he has a different point of view of me, and I'd love to get him on the channel, right? I would love to talk to him, right? So why do they believe this with unswerving, conviction? Why is it? That's what this video is about. So I just want to look at the other side of fandom, the toxic side. So you got this guy over here who just piled on, right? And he's just being nasty, right? This is a nasty person being nasty, enjoying being nasty. If anybody feels slightly miserable about their lives, like their existence isn't going far, have a watch at Biblical Vomit Vids that have no matter what life brought you. You're not making thumbnails like this. Dude, the reason most people come to my videos because the thumbnails are funny, right? Because people like them, and they make fun of you, right? But he's just being mean and nasty for no reason other than being mean and nasty, because he likes being mean and nasty, right? Look, this is another thing from somebody else's thing. Like, why would you depict half the country as evil? Like. We didn't used to live like this, right? We didn't used to live like we're at each other's throat. We didn't used to live in a way that we believe if somebody doesn't follow the exact thing, that we think exactly the same way on every issue, then they're completely irredeemably evil, or they're just evil and can be re-educated. But they are evil, and it doesn't matter how many times they've been proved wrong. I mean, look at Noel Clark, right? They're still dogpiling on him. Hey, he's a garbage person, a bit of history. If the police could have found something to get him on, they would have got him on it, right? No, there was nothing there. There was not the only real actionable thing, as far as I know, reading the Guardian report, was that one actress alleged that Noel Clark had coerced her into doing a nude audition and then secretly filmed it. It was private and secretly filmed it. Apparently the casting director was in the audition, and the reason for a nude audition is if you're naked on film and it's a lot of money going on you can't wait, and somebody's like, I can't do it, then you've lost a lot of money, right? It's fiscally irresponsible. And the casting director was there and said that there's no possible way he could have filmed it. Now, could he be lying? Sure. But could the other person be lying? Sure. We don't know. And the idea of believing one over another is ludicrous, right? With that, it's just like, how do you protect people like Noel Clark from who became suicidal? Thank God he didn't, right? But it's just the weirdest thing ever. But again, they like dogpiling on him. And again, it doesn't matter how many times they have been proved wrong. I mean, look outside your window. Did anything good come out of the Black Lives Matter riots? Right, spiraling crime. In the US, I can't think of any positive benefit. Right, property destroyed, people's lives ruined, mass unemployment, huge unemployment. Let me know if you can think of anything good that came out of it. Right, but why do they all believe everything with such conviction? Right, and why does everybody believe everything with such conviction? Do you remember a couple of months ago when everybody started putting Ukraine stickers on their on their Facebook was it profiles or whatever. And there was a mono thought about about Ukraine. Now I'm not saying, oh, yay Russia, go Russia, but I think it's good to think for ourselves, right? Why do we all start thinking these things individually all at the same time? It's weird, right? Why do we believe things that are fundamental, just prove not to be true, and it doesn't matter? So that's what the 40 minutes. That's what this video is going to deal with. And again, it's a synthesis of a bunch of stuff. Thank you for listening. Again, comment, let me know what you think. And now I'm going to hand over to a darn attractive gentleman, a darn intelligent gentleman. Whoa! Of course, I have to be talking about me. Well, I have had a day. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I have had a day. I am not well. I don't know how long I'm going to go, but I am not well. Maybe I'll do a couple of hours. I hope to. Anyway, but I am not well, and I know why I'm not well, and I have had a day because of it. And but it's synthesized, right? It's synthesized a couple of my areas of my life into one idea, which I'm just literally right now, right? Decompressing right now. And I think I will share with you. You know, this is a good opening to a show. So there's a lot of YouTube gold I've been given over the last 12 or so hours, right? So where to start? Here, 1 second. I'll go. Where is it? Doink. Is it that? Yeah. Fine. So it all started innocently enough. Let me share the screen. I'm really not well. I'm like genuinely not well. There we go. All started yesterday. Back when I was putting this video out, yeah, and I actually recorded this video yesterday, and I put it out on the same day because I thought it was really worthwhile to get out, right? And so, you know, we're talking about multiverse, right? So, I wanted to do alternate doctors, and I want to do like kind of cool and interesting ones. So I got Don Martin here. I thought he was always a good bet for an interesting alternate doctor. And man, his cosplay is awesome beyond awesome. Oh my god, I was so impressed. That's a rabbit hole I went down for a long time, right? It really, really super impressive, right? Juliet Landau. I know the female doctor didn't go down so well with Jodie. Okay, I hear it. And I don't think I would like to see Juliet Landau permanently play the doctor, but I wouldn't mind seeing it as a doctor in an alternate universe special one-off, right? Oh, yeah, why not? I'm open to that. But it seems to be kind of fun. Like that. We're doing multiverse. Yay, right? Anyway, so my mistake was, several mistakes, but the mistake I want to talk about was this. I mistook, and I do this a lot, and we all do this a lot, Dom's clear creative brilliance, right? A very, very creative, talented person. And again, cosplay, oh my God. So much thought goes into this, and I love the way he poses. He really I normally like cosplayers with their boobs, like kind of jiggling around, right? That's what initially drew me to the world of cosplay. I'm like, but I'll tell you, Dom really sells it, right? Fine. But so I confuse that clear, very, very strong talent for perception, right? It's such a shame. It often, although you also got to factor in. I'm being a bit judgmental because he's very young, right? And the people I've been dealing with today are all kids. They're all kids, right? They're all kids. But man, I can't remember if we were like this, right? This sense of entitlement and this like ironclad belief we're right, right? Even though we're wrong, right? And it's like they're so convinced that they're right about it. It's so bizarre, right? But anyway, I think he tweeted at me. He said, any particular reason to use me? So here's what's going on, I believe, right? I think the evidence of your eyes was like not a big deal. This is I'm being reasonably complimentary to all concerned. This is something I would like to see, right? That's it. I don't think there's any other inference any sane person can take out of it, right? I've looked at it and said, yeah, no, this is just really being quite polite, right? I think. Anyway, listen, although he was upset, I used his image without permission. I'm like, yeah, fine, whatever. I mean, honestly, I think if you put your image out there, you put your image out there. If you want to watermark it or something, I hear it. But like, I don't think you had a problem with me using the image, right? I think the problem was that his prejudices, his assumptions about me, are that I'm a Islamophobe, right? I'm almost, that's what it seems like, right? That's what it seems like, because I'm just not on board with throwing people out of my being mean to people and assuming people are bad because they're not on board with shooting couples casting. That seems a bit extreme. I mean, listen, if they've always been a bit racist to me, yeah, okay, I get the point. But if they've all been kind of like normal, reasonable people, they have a normal, reasonable point of view, which they do. Their normal, reasonable point of view is the character has been white for 80 years or 60 years, which factually that is correct. Now, I feel that's a much more expression of the changing British demographics, right? I think the most sense for a first black guy to be Doctor Who would have been number 6 after Peter Davison. I wish I could go back in time and whisper that to John Nathan Turner in his ear, right? And he'll give you like, well, because you can probably get a better actor as well, right? As a bold choice, I think. Listen, unless he's racist, which I don't think he was. I have never seen any evidence that he was. I think he would have gone for it. I just don't think he thought of it, right? Well, that really would have, I think, been the sweet spot for the first black Doctor Who. But not that it matters. But anyway, I'm just like, it's their point of view, and they are factually correct. And at no other point in their life have they demonstrated being a racist dick. So I asked them, and they said no. It's not, happy to be a different character, a heroic Time Lord, dying the Doctor's brother, right? Whatever, I don't know, Cyborg. But they feel that character, right? Again, not my point of view, but live and let live, right? Live and let live, which is my point. These kids cannot live and let live. So anyway, his prejudices said I was taking the piss, even though there's no way a sane person could. So he came first here, said, why did you use it? So he said, well, something like, given my prior work, right? I thought I might be mocking him. And again, I don't know what he's referencing, right? I mean, a bunch of people threw up, and they do it. They throw it out as proof. The thumbnail where I did the 20 minutes or a shorter video because I thought it was important to do, speaking about is it racist to not be happy about shooting couples casting, And the basic point of that message was, well, if you're saying the Doctor, a black person can't be the Doctor because the black person couldn't do that, that's totally racist. Yes, that is totally, completely racist. And no one's going to argue that it isn't, right? If you want to say the character, for me, I don't feel that fits with my definition of the character. That's another conversation to be had, right? Right? But basically, the point of that video was, peace and love, baby. Let's all be tolerant to each other. Man. So how does this tie into my greater life? And I think this is the important bit, right? Because I always ask myself, why did God put me here, right? Why did God do that? Because I believe in God, right? I do, right? I think everything happens to you for a reason, right? I think if you imagine your life is a piece of art, right? You are a piece of art, and whenever you get these bumps in the road, whatever they are, be they highs, lows, stress, whatever, right? This is God kind of painting you, brushing you, making you into, giving the opportunity to be the ultimate version of you, right? And I totally believe that with everything that happens in life, right? And even if I'm wrong, it's not a bad way of going through life. Anyway. So I'm like what's going on with this? Like what? Like what? No. What the Cyrus? Oi, Ladu, right? You know, if I want to speak in the tongue of my tribe. Anyway. I tell you, don't get excited for the tongue of my tribe. They don't go many places. Oh, hello, Daisy. My dog just came down. Yes, you okay? You okay? Yes, you are. Anyway. So I'm doing this theological study right now for 50 days called the Six Constant Mitzvahs, right? The mitzvah is a commandment from the Old Testament. We Orthodox Jews think there's 613 of them. A lot of them are like really like to do with agricultural law and things like that, and a lot of them are to do with the society, right? How to make a good society. What is it's an interesting blend of socialism and capitalism, right? Anyway, I digress. But you have six of them, which form like your interpersonal relationship with God, which is part of you 24/7, right? So these six, I'm on the last one right now. So the first one is believing in God. That's actually a commandment. To have faith in God is a commandment, right? Why would God ask you to? Why is it meritorious for somebody to? I'm just assuming if you're an atheist or an agnostic, you may, well, why is it meritorious for somebody to have faith in God? Surely, if I was an unscrupulous person and I was making a religion, I will put it as a tenet of that to believe in that religion, right? I would totally do that. Why? It shuts people up, right? So here's the tautana. Here is the circular logic, right? The circular logic is because that argument exists. Believing God anyway is basically that's a kind of like pure faith, right? That you there is meritorious. The way you can do that is by you look at the wider the wider. But anyway, that's the first one. It was the second one is don't believe in anything else has any power other than God, right? Yeah, that's basically idolatry. Don't so they think it's money. Daisy, are you okay? Oh, she's slicking my feet. Oh, you lovely doggy. I got the air conditioning on down here, which is probably why she's here. That's why I left the gate open. So third one is knowing God is one, and that's a mind-blowing one, right? It's a really mind-blowing one. It's basically it's understanding what infinity is, right? If something's infinite, there is nothing disparate from that, right? Everything is part of infinity, right? Everything is connected, right? There is nothing. There's no individualism. It's illusionary to a great degree, which is why the fundamental thing that God wants in the world, right, is for us to like each other and get along with each other and be different and friendly, right? That is what, if you want to boil it down, that's what God wants, right? You know the pass you give yourself when you screw up and you go, well, because of this and that, and we all screw up and we all give ourselves a pass. When nobody's watching, we all give ourselves a pass, right? God would like you to give a pass like that to other people, right? That's the ultimate world that God wants. Why? Because God is infinite. They're infinite. Nothing is disparate from God, and the more we emulate that, right, the more godlike we are, right? So that's the third one. So then you got love God. How can you be commanded to love anything, right? Well, basically like this: love and hatred are all really to do with how what you focus on, right? Yeah, most people are equally dicks and equally nice, right? But like some people are a little bit more dickish, some people are a little bit nicer, right? But most people are like, about the same, right? So how is it we like some people and don't like others? Because we just focus on things. Normally, it's things that are familiar to us, or things that we saw in a parent that became our ideal of goodness, right? And they embody that, so we end up loving that, right? That's what love is, and ignoring the negative traits. Fearing God. Well, fearing is understanding that God can handle your balls anytime he wants. But also, it's much more of an awe, right? It's like this. When you understand that you're important, but put yourself in the context of a greater reality, right? You when you focus on how big and how complex the universe is, it blows your freaking mind, right? And that's the kind of awe. That's a bit fear of God, right? It's like breathtaking. But so now we're on this final one. I was trying to get my head around it, which really ties into the situation, in my life, right? And it's do not go over the desires of your hearts and your eyes, right? So the question is asked. The question is asked. What's wrong with that? I mean, like the heart wants what the heart wants, baby, right? So what this is basically saying is a couple of things, but it's basically saying is that you are the heart is a captain of the ship, right? The heart drives you, right? So it's saying your heart should be informed, and being informed means you receive data, which is your eyes, right? Your eyes should inform your heart, right? Reality should inform your heart, and because your heart is going to drive you, no matter what. Your heart's always going to drive you. So anyway, so this ties into a third thing, right? Which I think brings everything together. I think it's really, really, really pertinent, right? So my wife was talking on Shabbat, right? And like she doesn't like. I don't know how we always get in this conversation. We do often, right? When we talk about how awfully controlled the universe is by social media. Right, it's like they are hypnotized. My wife doesn't really understand it or doesn't see it. She says, look, I read my Facebook feed, there's people sharing their pets. It doesn't really affect me. So I was trying to say it's not really like that, right? Facebook and Twitter and whatever, they create a cloud of truth, right? This cloud of ideas, this cloud of data, right? And they curate that cloud, right? They curate it, and they make things that are false appear to be true, right? And true appear to be false, right? And so, and she says, "Well, why does that bother you? Like, why does that upset you?" And I was like, "That was a good question," and it really, really did stump me, right? And that's the one that I've been thinking about for the last few days, and now everything's been I tied it all together, which I'll tell you right now. So it was this. It was what bothers me is this. Like what? Oh, that dog's gone good. I'm always scared I'm going to roll over them. Right over there, hey, Daisy. I'm always scared I'm going to roll over them with my chair, especially the cat. Always freaks me out. Anyway. Why does it bother? Right. So okay. So what essentially do I believe the Bible to be? Right. Like what do I think it is? Right. And what's its function? Right. Well, what we're coming up to this holiday on Sunday. It's going to be Saturday night, Sunday, which is commemorates God appearing at Mount Sinai. Imagine Monty Python. And then we. Hello, Daisy's back. Hello, Daisy. That's when he bestows the Bible. Well, the bits of the Bible, all the bits that happened up until that point, I believe. That's the way I think it went down. Anyway, why? What's the freaking point of it, right? What is the point of the Bible? Like, why was it created? And what it is, it's a document of morality, right? This is the template, and that's what we have all these stories in, all these laws. It's a template to understand what morality is, what is moral and what is immoral, what is good and what is bad, right? It's a guidebook for life. Yeah, and the stories are like illustrative of the ideas that run through it. Like if you read it just as literature, the first book of the Bible, Bereshit, it essentially starts with the question: "Am I my brother's keeper?" Right? Cain says of Abel. Where's your brother? He's like, "Am I my brother's keeper?" Right? And then the whole vibe of the book is, the whole essence of the book is ponders that question: are you your brother's keeper? Oh, there's the cat. Hello, and the dog. Hello. I hope you're not humping each other. There you go. Good. Anyway, am I my brother's keeper? And the answer by the end of it, you get with Joseph and his brothers. Yes, you are. You are your brother's keeper. You need to care about each other. right? That's important. That's actually the most fundamental, most important thing in the world. Yes, you do need to care about each other. And the story they give to illustrate that is Joseph and his brothers. Now, Joseph and his brothers hated Joseph, right? They hated him. And they dicked him over and they destroyed his life. Literally, right? They were going to kill him, right? They absolutely hated Joseph, right? And Joseph was always the better man, right? He was always, and it wasn't turning the other cheek, right? It wasn't that at all. But they hated him because he was the better man, right? Because everything he did succeeded, right? They sold him as a slave, and he ended up like becoming the head of the household he was sold to, and then he was thrown into jail because he wouldn't shag the wife of his owner, and he became like the head of the jail, right? You know, it's like he just succeeded everywhere, and that's really why they hated him, right? So, and they really dicked him over, right? So he has this whole thing where he dicks with them for a long time, he doesn't realize they don't realize it's Joseph, and he keeps wanting to realize it's him, right? And he like, because they come to Egypt for food and they don't recognize him, right? And he takes one of their brothers. He takes the youngest brother, Benjamin, right? And he's waiting to see them fight for him, right? They're waiting to see him stick up for him. Right? Hello, Daisy. Daisy and Ninja's over here. Like, hello, Ninja. Okay, and eventually they do, right? Awesome scene, right? Awesome scene when they're basically about to go to war, right? And I always wanted to do this as a comic book, right? I would love to do the Bible as a comic book, right? But there's a scene where basically the 10 brothers lined up, right? And then you had this story earlier with was it Shimon and Levi, where they end up like castrating a town and taking them out. They're insanely violent. I would love to do it as a spaghetti western, right? And they're known as being like the most awesome like battle duo ever. So you can see the leader in Yehuda's like raging away at Joseph, not knowing it's Joseph. To get his brother back and about to go to war, right? You can see, I can imagine like giving each other a glance and they both like unhooking their swords, right? Like undoing the other's swords. And then I see then I can imagine like one by one, they each do it, right? And you had 2 of them took out a town. Like, so 10 of them, they're going to take out Egypt. It's going to be off the charts, right? It's going to be the most awesome season finale, effects heavy, but budget heavy, battle. It's going to be fan-freaking-tastic, right? I mean, so much better than anything you've seen in the MCU. It's going to be awesome, right? And it's about to kick off, and they're about to pull their swords, and Joseph says, "I am Joseph. Is my father alive?" They realize, right? They realize that it's Joseph. And they're like, they think he's going to kill them, right? And the thing is this, he wants them to know that he can kill them. He wants to know that he can do. But he gives them homes and he looks after them for the rest of their life. And they still don't trust him, right? That's how much you are your brother's keeper. That's how essential that is for life. That's how primal that is, right? That your brother matters, that your fellow person matters, right? That's a central idea. So why do I care about social media, right? Why do I care about social media and just this falsehood, like pervading the reality? The information cloud is lying, and it's making people. Why? Why do I hate it? Because it's taking advantage of this thing of not going after your heart and your eyes, right? It's like it's feeding you false information to take control of your heart, to take control of you. Right? It's slavery, man. It's the worst thing in the world, and they don't even realize they're being made into slaves, right? So so what really crystallized me was this thing today when I put it, because I am now swarmed, and it wasn't a swarm. There's under 30 of them. It just seems like a lot, right? When you go one after another. Actually, I will say there's one guy who he's a smart guy. Here's the thing. This is why I hate it, right? Just like Dom. Dom's a smart, and I think he is, because he's so talented. There's no way he can be that talented without being smart, right? And clearly very talented. So, and the guy's doing today, he was a smart guy, right? Young. They're young, but oh God. But this guy was able, finally, after having a Twitter spat, we actually got talking. And that was really good. I really wanted to come on the channel because I fundamentally disagree with him, right? But here's what I want to understand. I want him to understand. I think he will understand. He'd say, no, here's what I think will go down, right? If I get him on the channel, I think people who are reticent about shooting Gutwer as a doctor will understand why it's so important, right? Why they feel it is so important, right? The people who do feel it's very important, I think they really will. And it's, I think the more we understand each other is a very, very important thing. It's a very, very good thing, right? So I'd love him to come on the channel. Well, hopefully he would hear, even if he disagrees with me, right? I would like him to know that me, I think basically everybody watch it, right? Everybody in the fandom, everybody really has everybody's best interests at heart, right? And that's the problem. They just don't believe we do, right? Do you remember Planet of the Apes where at the end, Charlton Heston says to the young ape, says, don't trust anybody over 20 or whatever it is. That's what they really don't. So I was talking to this guy, and I worked out that in 2015 he was like 15, right? Now 2015, if you were an adult then, you remember we lived in a perfectly blended, ethnically blended society where everybody was visible, right? Where everyone was visible, you know. And it was like nobody else was upset. But like the idea of suddenly being upset at Mickey dating, right? It was weird, right? It wasn't even like annoying. Nobody would be outraged. We were like, what? Wait, what? That's crazy, mate, right? That's insane, right? Why could we all live in the world? It was perfectly, and it was like that for years, decades. I understand, you know, racism. That certainly was the thing when I was growing up. 100%. You know, homophobia, 100%, right? The queer bashings were going on when I was young. Yeah. Was I on board for it? No, right? Nobody my age was, right? So we grew up in this world. We grew up wanting a world without racism. And then basically lived in it for 15 years or so, right? We like, hey, we're all friends. Hey, Barack Obama, I'll vote for him. Yeah, why not? Why? Right? We lived in it. And then all of a sudden, this generation of kids, and they were 5 when Rose was on, right? They don't know. They don't even, they've been brought up with this fake cloud of data telling them bullshit, telling them that that we're at war with each other, right? Telling them that we hate them, and they believe because they live in it. They live in this cloud of lies, and I'm not blaming them for it, right? Okay. We got there's a concept in Judaism called tinat shenishba, like a kid that's been kidnapped, right? That's the kid that's been kidnapped and then he's returned back to you, and he's like, you know, he's a big like, you know, I want my side of bacon now, please. You know, and they're like, we'd like to gefilte fish, you know. So that actually happened. Oh my god, this poor guy. Okay, super religious guy, right? So I mean, he's actually he became religious. And he became super religious with the big, you know, the curls, they go pay up down here, the hat, the whole thing, right? The whole super, and he's like scrawny. He's so Jewy, right? He is the most Jewy Jew ever. I can't remember, Yankel Finkelbaum, whatever. I can't remember, whatever the most Jewy thing. He is super Jewy, right? So he marries this girl who was also wasn't religious, then becomes religious. Right, and then a couple of years later, when they got a kid, she says, "Yeah, this Jewish thing isn't for me. I'm going back to my state in Newcastle." He's like, "Was is this?" So now he goes and visits the kid. Oh, the kid's got like bone coming out of his arm. Chained, version of Antichrist. And he's like, "Would you like the kefir?" She kind of, would you like the chicken soup? We have Canadian look. So there, tinat shenishba, right? You're not going to hate the kid. The kid's been kidnapped and raised in falsehood, right? And that's what happened. So this is a major synthesis, right, of my life, of things that I've been working on, right? And so it's a shame. I mean, I hope that guy comes on, right? But man, these kids, this is what happens. Their eyes have been hijacked. The data they live in has been hijacked to make them hate us, to make us hate each other, to hate anyone who doesn't believe 100% what the prescribed thing is to believe that day, right? They've been programmed to literally hate us, right? Anyone who questions, anyone, they've been told to think that we hate them. It's like, and it's like, we got. I hope we were able to deprogram this. Right, but it's that's what's going on, right? So I just be tolerant, guys. Hey, Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.